Welcome back to Tech Total Access. I'm Katie Leeper, keeping you updated as we Hokies hunker down. Even though most students are focused on their new academic routines, some are already worrying about what the pandemic means for their summer jobs, internships, and jobs after graduation.
It's been really hard for me personally because I'm a junior and I'm applying to PE school soon. So there's a lot of unknowns there. Classes have been a lot more difficult. I don't think I'll be able to take the GRE anymore because they're just pushing it back. So I'll have to reevaluate that.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to screw a lot of people because junior year, after your internship, a lot of people receive offers. So that could really, that could make it a lot tougher next year to get jobs.
I know a lot of seniors are getting calls saying we can't offer you this job anymore. So that's been really hard.
Students are also concerned with how graduate schools will view their transcripts if they choose to use the pass-fail or credit non-credit grading options.
I'm trying to go to law school, and it's do I risk it and go ahead and take the class and go ahead and do pass-fail and still get the credit? But is law school going to be is that a good idea? Was that right for her to do that? So I think that it's we don't know what other schools are going to think of us if we make that decision.
Although the Career and Professional Development Office in Smith Career Center is temporarily closed, the staff is available to assist students via phone or Zoom interactions. Stephen White, Assistant Director of Professional Development, shared what resources the Career and Professional Development Office provides to students.
The advisors at Career and Professional Development are happy to speak about the interview process and to do a practice interview with you. You can schedule an appointment through Handshakes to meet with us, and we can tailor the interview format for you. So, if you're preparing for a phone interview, we can do a practice interview over the phone. We also offer Interview Stream, which is an online interviewing practice resource that you can access 24/7 to practice from thousands of questions.
As a result of the coronavirus outbreak, all interviews must be remote to follow social distancing guidelines. Stephen explained the difference between in-person and video interviews so students know what to expect.
There are a lot of similarities between in-person and video interviews. You should prepare in many of the same ways, like practicing common questions, researching the position, the interviewer, and the organization, crafting your stories, preparing questions for your interviewers, and reading over your application materials. And of course, you should always send a thank you note or email after your interview. The differences are that you can often have notes in front of you since they won't be able to see your desk. However, since you will likely be at home during your video interview, you'll want to make sure that your background is professional and your lighting is adequate. Depending on the type of video interview, you may or may not be able to see the person that's interviewing you, which means that you'll be missing out on valuable body language and facial expression feedback. Video interviews are also often shorter than in-person interviews, so making a strong first impression is even more important.
Stephen also shared his tips on how to have a successful video interview.
Begin by making sure that you have a steady internet connection and that you can both hear the other person and easily be heard yourself. You should still dress head to toe in business professional attire. You don't want to be caught wearing sweatpants in case they ask you to stand up during the interview. Trust us, it's happened before. Make sure you have no interruptions, especially if you have roommates or pets. Silence your phone and any other items in your house that may make distracting noises. Make sure you have backup plans for technical difficulties. Give your phone number to the interviewer before the interview just in case. Not only will this help if your audio does not work, but it'll also show how prepared you are. Place your camera at either eye level or slightly above and make sure your background is clean and not distracting. Look at the camera instead of looking at yourself. If it helps, put a sticky note with an arrow pointing to the camera on your computer to remind yourself. Close other items on your computer, especially social media and messaging apps, before you begin your interview. And finally, make sure that you are familiar with whatever technology the company is using for the interview, such as Zoom, Google Hangouts, or WebEx.
Meredith Gerber, Assistant Director and Liaison to the College of Architecture and Urban Studies, explained how students must still seek to network with professionals and alumni while practicing social distancing.
Now's a great time to reach out to professionals who are working in a field that you're interested in, or maybe with a company that you know that you would like to work for or you're curious about working for. And whether that's for just informational interviewing or if you're looking to make some connections with someone to find out about job opportunities in the future, both of those, it's a great time to do that, mainly because we're all kind of in a different world right now. And so some people may have a little extra time on their hands, and they may enjoy that distraction from all of the other things and being able to talk about what it is that they enjoy about their type of work or about the company that they work for. But on the other hand, there may be some whose lives have really drastically changed and their time may be more challenged. So I would also say that while it is a good time to reach out, just practice patience as you are reaching out, and make sure that your expectations are realistic and that people may not be able to get back to you right away. And they may have a lot of other things going on too. So it's a good time, but practice patience while you're trying to communicate.
Meredith also shared her recommendations on how students should initiate conversation and arrange meetings to talk with professionals via phone or Zoom.
Think about advisors that you may have worked with or faculty in your department if you're wanting to pursue something very closely related to your major, and talk with them about who they may know, and even people who don't necessarily work in a field that you're interested in, they may know someone who does. So the more people you talk to, whether that's friends, family friends, friends of family, all of the above, the more people who know what you're interested in and looking for, the more likely you are to find out about potential networking opportunities to reach out and contact someone.
Claire Childress, Associate Director of Career Development and College Relations, explained why students should still search for jobs and internships while in quarantine.
There are some employers who are going on with their hiring for summer internships, where it might be a remote internship, but they are still looking to fill positions.
Claire shared the many resources available to students to help with their internship and job search.
One of my favorite ones is Career Shift, where a student can use that to search for listings. It's like their own personal search engine. They can search for internship, full-time, or co-op listings. They can also use Career Shift to find contacts. And then they can also search for companies if they're interested. Maybe they're interested in working in the pharmaceutical industry. So they could search for pharmaceutical companies, and it might give them some ideas of some organizations to reach out to that they never heard of before.
Even if you are seeing minimal to no results in your internship or job search, Claire does not believe you should give up. You might just have to try a different strategy.
Maybe you should cut back on the number of applications you're putting out there this week and make that application more tailored to the position that you're applying to. Use language that's in the job listing, in your resume, and or your letter of application, so you really demonstrate how you fit that opening.
Jim Henderson, Associate Director of Employer Relations, shared exactly what employers are telling the staff about jobs and internships in the wake of the pandemic.
Many employers are delaying their start times for summer internships. Some are cutting it out completely altogether, and some are changing it to a virtual work experience. So for the companies that work virtually, or if it's a business major, computer science major, or a job where it can be done virtually, those jobs are less impacted. If it's a job where you're on site, companies are either waiting to kind of figure out what they should do, or they are delaying the start time, or they're making hard decisions just to cut out the job altogether.
Jim does not believe students should be fearful about the uncertainty in jobs, internships, or graduate school, because no employer has ever had to deal with a crisis of this magnitude either.
Employers know exactly what's going on and the impact it has to students. A lot of the comments from the employers is, for the students just to be patient and to understand, they understand that a lot of students are not going to have that traditional summer internship, and that's not necessarily going to be held against them when they look for a full-time job.
Thank you for watching Tech Total Access Hokies Hunker Down. I'll keep you updated throughout the day on our Instagram.